As of about a month ago, I've officially been a flight instructor for 2 entire years. And after 2 years, I can successfully say that it is nothing like what I expected it to be. So today, I just want to sit down and I want to talk to you about everything that I've learned about instructing over the last 2 years, the good, the bad, the challenges, the rewards, all of it. You'll also notice that if you're watching this on YouTube, I'm not in my normal space today. I'm actually at a wedding up in Michigan, so I had to run away and record this video really quick. So first off, I want to talk about the reality of what instructing is and the reality of the grind for flight hours. I think a lot more goes into getting those flight hours than a lot of people really expect. They think that they'll just hop in an airplane with a student, fly around a little bit, and then go home, and that's it. That's the end of the instructing day. Before I started instructing at the airport that I currently do, I was told that I'd be getting 100 to 115 hours, like an absurd amount of hours per month. And yes, if everything worked perfect, then I would have. But there's so many other factors that you have to take into account. You'll have students that will cancel on you. You'll have maintenance issues. You'll have weather issues. If you're in a place like the Midwest, like I am, you're not going to fly at all in the winter. So there's so many other things that people don't take into account. If you're at a place like a lot of flight schools, then you're probably not going to get paid during those times. During the times where weather cancels, or student cancels, or maintenance cancels. You might get to the airport all gung-ho, ready to go, only to find out that you're not flying today and therefore you're not getting paid today. So before I started instructing, I had so much of a grind, get this done mindset that I feel like if I would have went in with the expectation of reality that it's going to take a while and that I need to be patient and consistent, then that would have eased a lot of the stress and pressure that I put on myself to just grind and get it done as fast as possible. Number 2, teaching makes you a better pilot. I don't know how many different ways I can say this or how much emphasis I can put on this, but this is the biggest thing that I've learned. Teaching turns you into such a fantastic pilot compared to those that don't teach. Being able to take something so complex and so in-depth as flying and having to break it down into so many bite-sized pieces for you to explain it to your students makes you have to become a master in each one of these topics. You also have to have such incredible situational awareness because in a lot of ways, mistakes that students make can happen so fast that you have to become an expert on situational awareness and be able to predict their mistakes, especially the ones that are going to put you in danger before they even know what's going on. For example, like seeing a student not using enough rudder in a power on stall, some students will just take it and just rip it back to a stall. And if you're not anticipating that, it could put you in a very dangerous situation. So being able to realize what's going on and almost predict the future before it actually happens makes you such a better pilot. If you're an aspiring CFI, I'm sure you've heard this before, or even if you're just a student starting out, every instructor at some point has heard that they didn't know how much they didn't know until they started teaching. At the very beginning, you'll have students ask you so many questions that you have no idea what the answer is to, because students have a fantastic ability of coming up with questions that you've never even thought of. My key takeaway from this section is that instructing really, really accelerates your growth as a pilot. And if you're someone who is time building and you want to become a better pilot, getting your CFI and getting hands-on and teaching students is 100% the way to go, in my opinion. Number 3, the human side of instructing. Every student learns differently. You learn about that a lot in your CFI training, but I don't think that most people truly grasp the depth of that until they start instructing. No 2 students will ever learn the same thing the same way. Never. And sometimes all it takes is for you to just be able to say the right words at the right time in the right order, and then it just clicks. But the struggle comes from what words to say, when to say it, how to say it, and you have to figure that out for each and every student. It makes this job so challenging, but at the same time, unbelievably rewarding, because at some point you just see the light bulb and they get it. You have to learn to balance their different personalities, their different egos. Some students come into the plane so nervous with zero self-confidence ever. Sometimes you get into an airplane with someone that's just used to naturally succeeding at life, and they come in super cocky, and you have to find a way to humble them without destroying their confidence. And then on another side of it is the fear aspect of it. Some students will shake even reaching for the controls, and yet some students just hop in the plane ready to go and throw you into all these advanced maneuvers that you don't even know about. It's also very taxing from a mental standpoint and an emotional standpoint, because in a lot of ways, you're not just their flight instructor. Most students that will walk through that door will have no idea about anything aviation unless they watch my channel. They don't know what steps to take, what path to take. You're not just a flight instructor, you're a mentor, you're a coach. You sometimes have to figure out what's going on with them mentally so that they can succeed in the airplane, and it's almost like you're a therapist to them. You being the one person that they can really talk to about a lot of this stuff, unless they have a family or other friends that are in it, you develop a really strong friendship and bond with them that is fantastic, but can also sometimes get in the way of their progression, because a lot of CFIs, they're too nice, or they're afraid of messing with that friendship, so they won't even critique their students. I've seen that happen firsthand all the time, that brand new instructors, they're so worried about being their student's best friend that they're afraid to give them any criticism. I think the key takeaway from this section is that your mental adaptability and emotional resilience in being able to switch your personality and adapt your personality and your teaching style based off what student you are flying with is one of, if not the most important traits of flight instructing. As you're progressing through your training, or someone who's in the stages of becoming a CFI, I'm sure that you've heard your CFIs over the years complain about the hard lifestyle that they have. And I'm sure a lot of you, myself included, were thinking, oh, it can't be that bad. But there is a lot of truth to what the rumors on the street are. You will work very long, very unpredictable hours. You might start your day at 8 a.m. and fly until 7, 8 p.m. And then you'll have a student text you and say, hey, can we do one of my night flights tonight? So that during the summer, you're not starting that until 10 p.m. and then you're going to midnight. Then you have to drive an hour home, and then you have to be back at the airport at 8 a.m. We talk so much in aviation about the ability to recognize if you're safe and the dangers of fatigue. And I feel like that's something that's often overlooked in the flight instructor domain. I mean, we don't have any sort of duty days or duty hours or anything along those lines. So it's up to you to really moderate yourself and make sure that you are still mentally strong and mentally fit to do what you are about to do. You'll find that throughout your time as an instructor, you'll put a lot of other facets of your life on hold. You're not going to have much time to go hang out with friends. You're not going to have much time to hang out with your family. Most CFIs, their goal is to start instructing, be a good instructor while they do it, hit their 1,500 hours and move on. So it's this double-edged sword, right? On one hand, you can prioritize your family, your friends, your life outside of flying, but then it's going to make the grind of 1,500 hours take much, much longer. It's really difficult to try to balance those two facets of it. I always tell these brand new instructors, right? And there's no right or wrong answer to this because everybody's different. You can either make it really suck for a very short amount of time, or you can make it kind of suck for a long amount of time. The option is really yours, right? If you want to just grind out your hours, hit your 1,500 hours, move on, that's great. If you want to take your time and prioritize the relationships outside of flying and outside of flight instructing, and maybe it takes a little bit longer to hit your 1,500 hours, that's great too. It's really up to the individual. Now, I want to say this with every bone, every ounce of my body. Grinding out your hours as fast as possible does not give you an excuse to be a bad instructor. If your one and only goal of becoming a flight instructor is to hit your hours and move on and not give a shit about your students in the meantime, do not become a flight instructor. I got off on a tangent. Let's go back to the script. Key takeaway from this part is yes, it's absolutely a grind, but so many doors open up to bigger and better opportunities down the line. Number 5, let's talk about just the safety of being a flight instructor. One thing that I've noticed with instructors, to be totally honest, I've caught myself doing it throughout my time as an instructor. The longer you do it, the longer you fly the same 8 airplanes or however many airplanes are on your fleet, you will find yourself becoming complacent, 100%. And I've caught myself fairly often just being so comfortable in the airplane that it's almost that the sense of complacency starts to kick in, and I realize it and I'm like, oh, okay, well, I need to lock in and I need to focus on this, right? Your students will also get a false sense of complacency. If they've got 50, 60 hours in, they think that they're starting to become professionals and that they couldn't ever have anything going wrong. So you have to sometimes make your students lock in as well. And it's a really, really, really dangerous situation when neither of you are, right? So the ability to recognize that and kind of kick it into gear for both you and your student is something that you really need to work on. And I think in a lot of situations, and to some extent myself included, when you're an instructor for so long and nothing has gone wrong yet, you almost get that hazardous attitude of, it wouldn't happen to me, our maintenance team is top notch, my students are top notch, I'm God's gift to aviation, I'm a fantastic pilot, that you forget that you are responsible for both lives in that airplane. So one thing that I recommend for instructors is to have their personal minimums written out and stick hard to them. It might be tough from someone transitioning from, like, let's say a 141 program to a like mom and pop 61 program, where at the 141 school you might not have much experience with dictating your own minimums. You're used to just listening to the prescribed weather minimums of the school or university that you're flying for. Whereas transitioning to a 61 school where they kind of let you do what you want, making that weather decision on your own or making those decisions to go fly or not falls 100% on you. That can be very, very tricky when you're first starting out. My key takeaway from this part is never, ever let the grind of getting to 1,500 hours compromise the safety of you and your students in the airplane. Number 6, I want to just talk about the biggest surprises that I have had since I started instructing. I always knew that sending students to a check ride would be a great feeling, but I don't think I realized just how truly rewarding it would be. I mean, seeing a student that you've been flying with for 6, 8 months, maybe even a year, finally go and pass that check ride after all of that training, after the last couple of months of just like hardcore check ride prep, and being able to shake their hand and say, congratulations, you've earned it, is so much more rewarding and so much better than I could have ever expected. It's an indescribable feeling that completely caught me off guard. And in total honesty, the aspect of sending a student to a check ride on check ride day, no matter how well the student is prepared, no matter how confident I am that they will pass, I am always more nervous than my student is. I don't know if it's just a facet of caring about your students and caring about their success, or if it's just like when you sign off on that IACRA form, which is the form that pilots have to fill out before they do any check ride, you vouch on your signature, on your certificate, you sign off that you certify that they are ready to be a safe and competent pilot. That's a huge weight on your shoulders, right? And not one that should be taken lightly. So when you send a student to a check ride and the examiner also says, yep, they're good to go, I mean, that student's released out into the world. They're ready to become their own pilot. It's so unbelievably rewarding to take someone from 0 to check ride. This role can also be very exhausting, not just physically from the long hours or financially from the low pay, but also emotionally, kind of like what we talked about. You're part-time therapist, part-time instructor, part-time friend, part-time mentor, part-time coach. Like, you have to fit all of these roles in it. And when you see a student really struggling with something and you can tell that they're beating themselves up over it, to some extent feels like a personal failure on you, and that can be very exhausting and very tiring. Also, the last thing that I found really surprising is you build some fantastic friendships, not only with your students, but also with like the fellow instructors or the fellow people that work at the airport, especially the instructors, because I mean, they're in the trenches with you, right? You guys are all going through the same set of challenges, the same set of struggles. So to be able to land and go talk to them about how their flight was, and you realize that it went the same exact way as your flight, you'll find yourself really relying on that friendship. I'm going to wrap up this video with just some advice I have to either current instructors, future instructors, or maybe you haven't even started flight training yet. This is still going to be valuable to you throughout your entire flight training journey. Number one, be patient. Not only with your students as they have their struggles and their plateaus, but also with yourself. If you look and say, I only flew 75 hours in the last month and my goal was 80, I really need to grind harder, but I took those 2 days off to go to a wedding or to hang out with my buddies or go on vacation, don't beat yourself up over that. You need to have some resemblance of a work-life balance, right? If you're not getting hours as fast as you like, be patient. I want you to really draw on the memories that you have of like when you started training out and the struggles that you had, because I don't know about you, but I could almost guarantee that you probably weren't the perfect student pilot back in your day, so don't expect the same out of your students. Protect your mental health. I'm going to say it again. Protect your mental health. Burnout is very, very real. That's why I have so many videos on this channel about burnout, is it's something that so many students struggle with and so many instructors struggle with. I mean, myself included. I've had to take breaks throughout my flying journey. Almost everyone I've talked to has taken some sort of break throughout their journey. Grinding from zero all the way up to airlines in one solid go, you will get burned out. And when you get burned out, you will grow to dread this lifestyle. You'll grow to dread this career. You might even grow to hate flying. Take breaks if you need them. Do things to renew your mental health. If you want to, take a day off and go to a theme park. Take a night off and go to the movies with your significant other. Do things that will rejuvenate your mental health and keep you going strong. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but there's a very annoying bird in the tree right next to me. I don't know what to do about that, so we're just going to keep going. This one should go without saying, but always keep learning and stay humble. The longer that you instruct, the more cocky and confident you're going to be. You'll always have something to learn. I feel like I learn something new every single day that I'm an instructor. Rather if it's from other instructors or people that have been doing it longer than me, or maybe it's from your students teaching you something random or asking you a question that you don't know the answer to. You'll always be learning something new. And finally, focus on being the type of instructor that you always wanted. Focus on being the type of pilot that you've always wanted flying you around. Don't take the easy route because it's easy with your students. Don't do something because the other instructors told you to. Think, how would I have wanted my instructor to handle this situation? And do that. Be the instructor you've always wanted. So throughout my 2 years of instructing, I've learned so many lessons. A lot of them were surprises. A lot of them just reinforced ideas that I already had, from wearing so many hats with your students, every student learning differently, to the burnout and exhaustion that comes with instructing, to the temptation to just grind out those hours and give up on your students because you're just using them for flight hours. There's so many things that I've seen, especially leading a team of CFIs. Hopefully talking about all of this helps open your eyes to some of the challenges that you're either going to face when you become a CFI or that you're currently facing as a CFI. So in the comments below, CFIs, I want you to tell me something that you've learned or that caught you off guard. And aspiring CFIs, I want you to take advantage of this community, and I want you to ask the instructors that are responding to the comments down below. I'm personally going to read every single comment, and I'm going to try my absolute hardest to respond to each one. If you like this style of video, please do me a favor and like the video. And YouTube has this new feature that's called hyping, that when you like it, it's going to ask you if you want to hype the video. Please do me a favor and click hype. Essentially, that's you telling YouTube, I like this video from this small creator. I want YouTube to push it to more people. That's how you do it. And finally, if you want to see more videos like this, subscribe. Remember that this podcast, or this video, is on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcast, Audible, anywhere that you can get podcasts, you can find this video. I want to thank you guys all for just sticking around and hanging out with me in this beautiful nature. I don't know if you're watching this at the airport or in bed. I think some people even fall asleep to my podcast, which is kind of a strange thought, but I'm not going to think about that too much. So thank you for hanging out with me this morning. I appreciate you guys so unbelievably much, and I will see you guys next week.